Hey guys, welcome to Biz Tips with the Super Coach. Today we're going to do the last in our series on SWOT analysis, and we're going to cover threats. And threats can come from all sorts of different places. At the moment, a lot of people are going through the threats of what coronavirus has done to their business. They've basically been blindsided. Some businesses have been forced to close. Some businesses will suffer for a long time still with the restrictions that are in place. So other businesses have ploughed along irrespective of coronavirus and have actually excelled. But it doesn't mean that there aren't threats in those businesses. Threats are something that are in existence in a business every single day, whether there's a pandemic on or not. And they're things that quite often we just ignore and we just put them in the corner, put them in the back of our mind. We don't think about the threats because that's negative stuff, yeah? And a lot of people say, oh look, be positive, be positive, be positive. Well, positivity is great, but you need to be realistic. And the fact is that if your nightmare competitor set up next door to you tomorrow and wiped you off the map, that's a threat. So what would that nightmare competitor or threat look like? Now, it doesn't need to be a competitor setting up next door. It could be something that's economically based, which is the type of stuff we're suffering now. It could be something that you could never imagine. So you simply just need to look at risk protection. It could be something that you do know is in existence and you're just waiting for it to happen because one day it will. Or it could be a whole range of things which could be possibilities that could be out there. So really what we're doing is we're trying to mitigate those threats. That's what you're doing with this area of SWOT analysis. You're recognizing something, you're getting your head out of the sand, and you're saying, what could happen to this business in a negative impact? What could happen here if the nightmare competitor came next door? What could happen to this business if the owner was run over by a bus tomorrow? What could happen to this business if all of a sudden somebody sued us for something that we did? What could happen in this business if one of our suppliers disappeared? What could happen in this business if the one client that makes up 80% of our revenue, all of a sudden they went bust or they decided to use one of our competitors? So there's a whole heap of these threats that are within a business that need to be looked at and need to be mitigated. And that's a very important part of any business plan. So when you're looking at your threats, really get your head out of the sand. There are threats in your business. Don't come along to me and say, hey, nah, we're right. Nothing's going to knock us over. None of us are bulletproof. We all have our kryptonite. So think about what the threats are to your business, and then let's start to work on those and say, well, okay, yeah, sure. If that did happen, what would happen and how do we mitigate that? What can we put in place to make sure that we avoid or minimize the risk of that threat actually happening? Some really important stuff to put in your business plan. So we've covered the four areas of the business plan SWOT analysis now. We're going to do a little bit of a summary in our next video and then talk a little bit about how we can help to bring a good action plan together for your business. Talk soon.